Hi, this is Matt Wimmer from Brody Precision, and welcome back to Certificates in Niagara. In this video, we will be taking a look at creating and signing our own certificates using a certificate authority that we create ourselves instead of going out to a third party and signing using one of those. So the way this process works is first we're going to create a certificate authority ourselves. The tool set is built into Niagara, so we'll go through that. And then we will generate certificates on our devices like we did in the previous video using the third-party certificate authority. And then we will sign those certificates using that certificate authority that we created in step one. And again, that tooling is all built into Niagara, and I'll show you exactly how to do that. And then the fourth step is going to be we're going to import that certificate authority that we created into the clients that are going to connect to these devices, because as we know with certificates, the piece that makes them work is that computers have this built-in trust store of certificates that they know that they can trust, or certificate authorities that they know that they can trust. So we're going to manually add in our certificate authority into those trust stores so that when we open up a browser and connect to one of our devices that's been signed using this certificate authority, it'll come up and know to trust it. So one thing I didn't mention in previous videos, and it applies for them as well as this one, is that Tritium has pretty good documentation on all of this stuff, and it's all available for you underneath your Niagara install in the doc directory in Doc Station Security. So if you wanted a little bit more in-depth written documentation on how this stuff is done, that's a good place to look. So our first step is going to be we're going to create our certificate authority. We're going to use the Workbench Certificate Manager to do that, and we'll take a look at that right now. All right, so we've jumped out of PowerPoint and we're in Niagara now. I'm using Niagara 4.8. Doesn't really matter what version you're using. We're going to go up here to the Tools menu bar. And typically when we're dealing with certificates, we're going into our local host or the host of the device that we want to manage the certificates on and using the certificate manager underneath the platform there. In this case, we will actually be using the certificate manager that is built into the Workbench tool itself and not into the platform. So we're going to go up to Tools and then Certificate Management. And it's going to bring up the certificate management window for our tool. Now, we're going to do the same process we did before, where we go down to the bottom here and click New. And instead of choosing a server certificate, we're going to select CA now. Now, you'll notice the only thing that really changes in that window when you do that is this alternate server name field is going to gray out. Everything else is typical, and we're going to need to fill it out as we did before. So we're going to give this an alias or a name that we just use for reference. I'm going to call it Brody CA. And then we're going to give it a common name. Unlike a server certificate where that common name is the address that you're going to access that device from, for a CA, you can use just a name that makes sense to you. So it could be something like site name CA or company name CA. In my case, I'm just going to call it Brody CA. And then I'm going to do the same thing we did before for the required fields. And you can bump up this, it probably would be in your best interest actually to do this, is bump up the end date for their certificate, the expiration date, the not after field. Bump that up so it lasts longer than just the default 1 year. So I'm going to bump it up, say 5 years. And make sure that CA is selected. I'm going to put in my email address, probably not really necessary, but I'll do it anyways. And then we'll hit OK. Now, it's going to ask for a key, a private key, a password essentially, for this CA. And that's sort of what keeps you secure when you go to sign a certificate with this CA. So we're going to put in a password here. And it's going to generate like it did for our regular certificate. And we now have our CA listed in the user store as any other certificate would be. The only difference being that our name, we gave it a CA suffix so that we know that it's a CA and not a regular server certificate. All right, so we've created our CA in Niagara, and our next step is going to be signing with that CA. So in order to sign a certificate, we have to create one on the device that we want to sign for. So we'll do that here in step 1. We'll generate a certificate request like we did when we were signing with a third-party certificate. Then we'll use a tool that you might not know even exists in Workbench, which is the certificate signer tool, and that allows us to take that certificate request and sign it with that CA that we created. As I mentioned earlier, we'll use that password to ensure that we have the authority to use this CA to sign something. And then we'll import that signed certificate back into the device's platform certificate manager like we did when it was a third-party certificate. So let's get back into Niagara. All right, so we're back in Niagara. First thing that we're going to do is log into the platform of the device that we want to create our certificate for. In my case, I'm just going to use my local machine, but this could be a supervisor, it could be a Jace, doesn't matter. So we will log into that platform and we will go to the certificate management, and we're going to create a new certificate just like we did when we were going to get it signed by a third party. I'm just going to call it Cert1 for my case. Now, the difference between when you use a third-party certificate authority and when you do it yourself is that you have some leniency now for the common name that you use. So whereas when you use a third-party certificate authority, you have to use a fully qualified domain name. When you sign yourself, you don't have that restriction anymore. So I can put in just an IP address. So I'm going to put in the IP address of my machine here. 1.180. And then the same requirements as before. And then we can make this longer if we wanted to for the expiration date. I'm just going to leave it as 1 year. And then if you had any additional names that you were going to reference the server from, you could put those in here as the alternate server names. And then I'm also going to put in the email address. And then I'm going to hit OK. And it'll do its thing, generate their certificate. So now I'm going to select that certificate. And as we did before, I'm going to do a certificate request. Hit OK. It'll generate that certificate request, putting it in the same place as before, which is our user home for the version and brand that we're using, and then the certificate or the cert management folder underneath that. So I'll leave that as the default. Hit OK. Now the next step is we are going to sign that certificate using a tool up here in the Workbench that you use to create your certificate, right? That Workbench that the certificate authority lives on. We'll go up to Tools and then the Certificate Signer tool. Now we're going to select the CSR that we want to sign. So that's this Cert1 that we created, which is underneath our Cert Management folder. And it's going to give you some information about that certificate, what the common name is, what the organization is, the technical details of the key size and things like that. And then it'll let you select the starting date and the expiration date for the certificate. We'll leave those as defaults, but you can change it to be really anything you want so long as your certificate authority is still valid. So the certificate authority alias is going to be the name of the certificate authority that you created in our first step. And then the password is going to be that password that we created. So I'm just going to put that in. And then I'm going to hit OK. Say where I want to save that signed certificate to. Again, it's going to be that same place, that cert management folder underneath the version number and then the brand of your user home. And I'm going to hit save, leave that. Now that certificate has been signed. So now I can I'm still in my certificate manager of my platform of my local host. So I can do an import now and find that cert that we just signed. Hit open. Hit OK. And now that certificate has been signed. It's been verified by our certificate authority that we created ourselves. All right, so now we get to the last step of the process of using our own CA, and that step is to add our CA to our client devices as a trusted root certificate authority. And the way that we're going to do that is we're going to open up the certificate authority in the Workbench Certificate Manager where we created it. We'll export a public certificate from there. And then on the client computers, we'll run a command from the Start menu, and we'll get to the Computer Certificate Manager. We'll import that public certificate into the Trusted Root Certificate Authorities folder, and then we'll follow the prompts that go along with it. All right, so the first step to getting our client set up with our certificate authority is to go up to our Tools and our Certificate Manager where we created our CA. And then we'll select the CA and do an export. For our use case here, we're only going to export the public certificate, but if you wanted to be able to sign with this certificate authority on a different computer or something along those lines, you could check the export private key button here and have the ability to do so in another user's workbench potentially. But for our case, we just want our clients to have access to this certificate authority and to trust it. So we're just going to check the export public certificate. Hit OK. And it's going to save our CA PEM file into the cert management folder of our install, just like it's saved every other file that we've set up so far. And we're going to hit save. And that's been exported out. Next step is to go to our client. I'm going to treat my computer as a client here, and we're going to go to the certificate manager on our computer or that device itself. And in Windows, that's done by going to your Start menu and then typing in CERT-MGR, which gives you the Manage Computer Certificates control panel menu item, and we'll hit Enter to get into that, and then we'll say yes because this is an admin level feature. You can mess things up if you delete the wrong things in here or you move things around that you're not supposed to, so just be extra careful when you're in here. But we're going to go into the Trusted Root Certificate Authorities folder and the certificates folder in there, and what you'll see is there's a whole bunch of certificate authorities that are already trusted, and this comes with Windows. Base install of Windows comes with this by default, and it's all of the big names that you've heard of before: VeriSign, GeoTrust, DigiCert, all the big name players all get included by default with Windows. But we're going to add our CA in, so we're going to right click on that certificates folder, go to all tasks, and then select import. Then we'll hit next, and we will find that file. Now, by default, it's only going to show you .cer or .crt files. Our file is a PEM, which this control panel item will allow you to use, but it won't show it by default. So we just have to change to all files down here on the filter and select our CA, hit open, then hit next. It's saying it'll place our certificate into the Trusted Root Certificate Authorities folder, and that's where we want it to be. And then we will hit finish. Give it a second or two to install that certificate. And it's going to pop up with a window here that says the import was successful. We'll hit OK. And then we can see now my certificate is now in this trust store. So we're all set in this window. Next thing we're going to do is I'm just going to double check that we're using the proper signed certificate in the web service of my demo station here. And we are. So we're good. Just double check that. All right. And now I'm going to open up a browser window. And I'm going to navigate to the IP address that I set up for my certificate that's signed on that device. So in my case, that's 180. And you'll note that I didn't get any exception windows. We've got the padlock at the corner. If I go in and look at the certificate, you can see that it was issued by Brody CA. It was issued to this IP address. And we've got a certification path that leads back to our CA. One thing to keep in mind here, especially if you're creating a certificate for a device that you might be accessing via something like localhost. If I type in localhost here, it's not going to come up without this exception, because we didn't tell the certificate that we wanted to access this device through the address localhost. It's only expecting to see people come in at 192.168.1.180. So if you have multiple addresses, always remember to make sure that they're included in your certificate. Otherwise, you'll throw an error like this. All right, the last piece we will take a look at is importing our CA into Niagara clients. So instead of using the Windows Trust Store, we'll now use the Trust Store that's built into our certificate manager in the platform of the device that we want to use. So we'll go into the certificate manager of our platform, go to the User Trust Store tab, import our CA, and we'll be set. All right, so we're in Niagara now, and we're going to go to our platform. I'm just going to use my local host. We'll go to the certificate manager. Then we'll go to the User Trust Store tab, go down to the bottom, click Import, find our CA, click OK, and now this station will automatically trust any certificates that are signed using this certificate authority, instead of where you would have had to before go to the Allowed Hosts tab, select the host that can't be validated, and click Approve. That'll automatically be handled for you because you have the CA in there. So that does it for this episode of Certificates in Niagara. We'll see you again next week. Thanks.